Hi, this is Gail, Healthy Mama Bee, and I am a little early, but just waiting for folks to join. So we're just going to gather and we'll wait. And I'm excited. So let's give it a couple minutes and see who joins our session today. Hopefully we'll have some folks who come and join us. This is my first session live, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to talk a couple minutes today about some of the strategies that I've used to lose weight, because I've had a lot of questions. Hey. Some of the things that I wanted to talk about today are some of the strategies that I've used to lose weight. Losing weight is not easy. It takes a lot of determination and hard work. And I had a lot of questions that came through phone calls and text messages and Facebook messages. And I wanted to spend a couple minutes today in sharing some stories. Hey Laura, good to hear from you. It's been a long time. Good to see you. At least see your name. Thanks for joining today. I'm glad you came. It's just 5:45, so I'm going to wait a couple minutes and see if anybody else joins us today. I'm hoping that they do, and if not, then they'll be able to at least watch this, and hopefully they'll be able to get some information from it. It's been a long time, Laura. And Robbie's here too, always my biggest supporter. This time may not be great for everybody, but I want to get to the gym in a little bit, so I just want to make sure that we have time. I may have to schedule future sessions at later times, but this is the very first one, so we'll see how it goes. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I'll just get started for the sake of time. I'm a big proponent for diets. Diets are fabulous. And what's really important to remember is that all diets are going to work. Regardless of what diet you choose, any diet is going to work. But you have to decide what diet plan is going to be best for you. Nobody knows you better than you do. So think about what you've done in the past and what's worked and been successful for you. If you found that there have been some diets that have been more successful than others, then that's what you should go with. When I was evaluating what would work best for me when I was at my largest, I knew that diets and restrictions weren't going to work because every time I was restricted, I failed. And it took a lot of time for me to come to the conclusion that no particular diet was going to work because I'm a little stubborn and I wanted to have the flexibility in meal plans to be able to eat what I wanted. So I made the decision to follow just calories and tracking calories on an app. I used an app called Spark People, and what I did was I essentially captured every single thing that I ate every single day. And I learned that there were a lot of foods that had a lot of calories that I wasn't aware of. There are a lot of hidden calories in foods that I love. And once I realized that there were these hidden calories, I started making better decisions. So instead of eating, let's say, 2 eggs for breakfast, I could have 4 egg whites, and that would be a lot less calories than the 2 eggs. So it allowed me to make better choices overall. It allowed me to learn about what was better for me from a health perspective, and it didn't make me feel like I was restricted. And that was really the most important thing, because every diet I had ever been on didn't let me eat pizza, and it didn't let me eat hamburgers or milkshakes or anything that I wanted to eat. And, you know, I didn't want to count points. I didn't want to drink shakes because I wanted to eat. I love to eat. And I just did not want to give that up. So I didn't. You know, there was a couple of psychologists back in 1986 named Prochaska and Di Clemente, and they came up with I think that it's called the stages of change. And there are 4 stages of change. I'm not going to go into it because it's a little boring, but there is a preconception of change where you're actually thinking about changing before you change. And it's like pre-contemplation. It takes a lot of time for us to come to the conclusion that we're ready for change. And sometimes just making small decisions and small changes during that pre-contemplative stage makes a huge difference. So if you're not ready to make the change, if you're thinking about what diet works for you or what lifestyle change, you know, while you're considering it, think about what choices you can make during that time period. So if you want M&Ms, eat the M&Ms, but just don't eat the whole bag. Have a half a bag, have a quarter of a bag, then close the bag, put it away, and walk away. You don't have to give up everything that you love to lose weight. And I think that's the key message that I really want to get across to everybody. You know, like I said, every diet is going to work. You're going to be successful in anything that you want to do. But the desire to change has to be greater than your desire to eat. And you have to have the mindset, and that's the key. You have to make up your mind that you're ready to do it. So until you get to that headspace, until you're really ready to do that, start to make small changes. And I start to see some of my friends are joining. My mom's here. Hey, Mom. And I see that Nan is here. Hi, Nan. And Tara joined. Tara, I haven't seen you in a really long time. It's nice to see your name. So thank you for joining. And Corinne is here from California. Nice to see you. It's been a really long time. Corinne and I know each other from high school. Tara and I know each other. Our kids went to preschool together. And Nan and I used to work together back in the day. We still work together, actually. We were just talking earlier today at a meeting. So I was just sharing the message, everybody, that, you know, change takes time. And it took 45 plus years for me to make the decision to make the change. And when you finally do, just make small changes every day. And, you know, eventually you'll find that just by making the small changes, you'll get motivated. You know, by eating the half a pack of M&Ms instead of the whole pack, you feel really good about yourself because you didn't eat the whole thing. So, you know, it thinks, hey, Robbie's cousin, nice to meet you, Lisa. It's really important to try and just make those changes, make them gradually, and then, you know, my big message is small changes, small steps will always add up to big results. They will. They always will. You know, it wasn't overnight that you gained the weight, right? You know, most of us are middle-aged. It took a really long time for us to get to where we were, and it's going to take time for us to lose it. So don't rush into it. You can't expect to start your diet right now. You have to prepare yourself mentally for it. So, you know, when you're getting ready to have dinner tonight, you know, have 1 potato instead of 2. Have a smaller piece of chicken. You want fried chicken? Eat the fried chicken. Just have a smaller piece. You know, that's what it's about. It's just about making better choices, smaller portions, and getting out there and moving. And let's talk about exercise for a couple of minutes, because nobody hated exercise more than me. Hated being outside, hated moving, was the most unathletic person that ever was. Truly, nobody hated it more than I did. As a matter of fact, when it came to PE, and my mom can actually vouch for this, I used to get notes to sit on the sidelines so that I didn't have to participate. That's how much I hated it. But when I started to lose weight, when I started to make changes, I wanted to really, look better. I knew that if I was going to lose the weight, and I was really heavy, I was almost 300 pounds. So, I knew that if I didn't start exercising, that there was going to be a lot of extra skin, and I didn't want to have to go through surgery. I didn't want to have to, worry about all of that. And I'm glad that I did, because you know what? With 110-pound weight loss, I don't need to have surgery. My body looks great. I don't look like I'm 25, but I look a whole lot better than I would have looked if I didn't exercise. And I go to the gym about 5 times a week, sometimes 6 times a week, depending on my schedule, and I love it. I really love it. And when I don't go, I feel sluggish, I'm tired, I get moody and cranky. It's really important to try and take care of yourself. Exercise is great for you mentally, just as much as it is physically. I've got a really stressful job. I'm sure all of you do too. And being able to get out there either at the beginning of the day or at the end of your day and moving will really help decrease your stress as well as burn calories. So just keep that in mind. So really, the message for today, move a little bit every day. Make a couple of changes every day, and you can totally do it. Hey, Rebecca. Love you, honey. So here we come with the questions, and thank you, Anne, for starting it. How did my daughter feel with me talking about dieting all the time? And she didn't like it, and it was a little overwhelming for her at first because I was a bit obsessed at the beginning. It was a lot for her. But eventually, a couple weeks into it, we really sat down and talked about it, and I explained that it was a lifestyle change, not just for me, but for all of us. We needed to all learn how to eat healthier. It was not okay for us to have so much junk food in the house. And when we thought about it, it wound up being okay, and we all accepted it. I have a son who's 19 now, and he's off in college. At the time when I first started my weight loss journey, he was still here. He was going into his senior year of high school, and he's very health conscious, so he was on board totally. Juliana, also very health conscious, likes to snack, as does Joshua, but I cleaned out the house. I didn't want to have any trigger foods in the house, and so for them it was a really tough change. But they accepted it. They supported me. And, I did buy them a couple things. I just stayed away from the cabinet so I wouldn't have to indulge in it. Hi, Hannah. So Lisa asks, what is the best exercise with back issues, and do you have to lift weights? Lisa, I'm not an expert when it comes to exercise, but I know that walking is really good at any exercise level. So I think you should first of all talk to your doctor, see what he would recommend or she would recommend for whatever back issue you have. But in terms of weightlifting, I didn't start weightlifting until I was about 60 or 70 pounds in. I was mostly focused on cardio at the beginning because I felt that cardio was the way to go for me. It burns, I thought, the most calories. The more I exercised and the more weight I lost and the more reading I did, I had to do a lot of self-education. I learned that when you weightlift, you actually burn a lot of calories, and the calorie burn lasts a whole lot longer than your workout. So weightlifting is important. It helps to increase your metabolism. It helps to build muscle, and muscle actually does weigh more than fat. So it's very important. As a matter of fact, after our session today, my daughter and I are going to a weightlifting class, so that's going to be fun. Any other questions? Hope I'm not talking too fast. One of the most interesting, hey Dale, good to see you. When I took a nutrition course also, when I started to get really into the weight loss and understanding food better, I took a nutrition course online to just understand, what foods are better to eat after workouts and what times of day should I eat carbs versus proteins. And it was really helpful, in understanding it. I'm not a nutritionist. I would never even, try to be one. But I did learn something interesting. You know, a lot of folks feel that, you know, you shouldn't eat carbs. And I found that carbs, and I never knew this, carbs have the same amount of calories as protein, which I thought was really cool. I had no idea. I always thought that you shouldn't eat carbs. If you were going to diet, eliminate carbs totally, and that's not the case. Carbs are good to eat. They're healthy. They should be part of your diet. The key, though, what I learned, for me anyway, is that you should eat more complex carbohydrates. Try to stay away from the processed carbs, which are mostly whites, like white rice, white bread, because those have been stripped away of all the nutrients. Anne asks, how long did it take for you to lose all the weight? I'm still losing, Anne. I've not hit my goal yet. I've lost 110. I started in August of 2015, and here we are in January 2017. So it's taken that long. One of the things that I did do, and I thought about that this morning when I was thinking about the things that I was going to talk about today, I would lose weight, and then I would stop and plateau for a while, and I would stay plateaued for a month, maybe 6 weeks, to make sure that I could maintain it. Part of this journey for me was learning how to maintain, because I never wanted to go back up. I had to learn how to eat and how to maintain. So for me, it's been sort of like going down a series of steps. And it's been self-monitored and self-directed the whole way. Your husband wants to know, are bananas good for weight loss? Why wouldn't they be? Anything is good for weight loss as long as you're eating within your calorie range. They're high in potassium. And again, I'm not an expert, but I ate bananas when I was losing weight. Bananas, depending on the size, are about 100 calories, and you just have to fit that into your daily calorie range. And Nan says, yep, no simple carbs. Now, Nan has lost 100 pounds also, and I knew Nan years ago. We used to work in the office at the same time. She's a completely different person than she was back then, and Nan actually inspired me to lose weight too. So, Nan's pretty cool. Any other questions? You know, again, and I'll just reiterate for the folks who joined a little bit after the time that we started, you know, it's all about being in the right frame of mind. That's really the key to your success. And don't rush it. Just don't rush it. When I made up my mind to start this process, I made really small changes. I decided that I was going to stop having bagels for breakfast, and I replaced it with fruit or yogurt. Then I decided that I wasn't going to eat fast food anymore. And then I decided that I was going to eliminate certain things from my diet that I just didn't think I needed anymore. You know, there are some things that I never gave up. I never gave up Chick-fil-A, love it. Never gave up pizza, love it. Never gave up cookout milkshakes, love them. I'm never gonna give those up, love them. I just fit them into my my daily calorie intake. And you know what? It's okay to go above your calorie range every once in a while, because if you don't, then you're going to feel deprived. So it's really important for you to just find that balance. If you deprive yourself all the time, then you're going to fail. And I learned that about myself, right? Because all these years that I've been overweight, I've been on diets, and I restricted myself, and I stopped eating carbs, and I stopped eating fats, and I stopped eating all the goodies that I wanted to eat. And then I would want to eat something, and I would binge, and then that would be the end of it. I would never get back on plan again. If you incorporate it into your lifestyle, you can eat anything you want. You just have to get right back on track. And yes, Lisa, you can totally drink coffee. You can eat and drink anything you want. You just have to be conscious. You just have to be conscious. And one of the things I also wanted to mention today is picking. Picking is really detrimental. Okay, so like I was a picker, not picking my nose, but I would pick, you know, a couple of Mike and Ike's, and then I would have a couple of little Twizzler things, and then I'd have, you know, a little piece of chocolate, and all of those little, like 2 or 3 of this and 2 or 3 of that, add up, and at the end, after I tracked all of those little tiny picks, it wound up being 300 or 400 calories, which is the equivalent of a sandwich, a salad, a meal. You know, a really good solid protein, a complex carbohydrate, and so ultimately it wasn't the best option because there's no nutritional value there. Do they taste good? Yeah, but you know, not really. No, you're going to get a whole lot more value for your body, and a lot more health benefits by eating something that's a whole lot better. So, you know, just, you know, keep in mind that picking is not the best, not the healthiest way to go. You know, sometimes we pick when we're nervous, sometimes we pick when we're anxious, sometimes when we're bored. You know, a lot of questions that I had this week is, what do you do when you're bored? What happens after dinner? How do you handle that time? One of the things I always did, especially when I was in my you know, really heavy weight loss, I would buy these little sugar-free Jell-O cups. They're 60 calories and some whipped cream, and I would have one of those for dessert, and that was it. And once that was done, I would save those for 9 o'clock. I would have that, and kitchen was closed. I would go into my bedroom, I would read, I would work, I would hang out with my kids, I would do anything but go into the kitchen. And if I really needed something after that, I'd make myself a hot tea. I would make myself a hot water with lemon, anything that would keep me away from eating. I needed something in my hand and something that I could just, you know, move the movement from my hand to my mouth. That's really what I needed, and that's what I did. So, hey Patience, hi Jennifer. Jennifer's in her 3rd week of Spark People. Awesome. To track calories, and how in the world do I eat the calories that they recommend? I've only hit my low calorie intake 4 times. That's a great question. It's all about learning which foods have the lowest calorie proponents, and it's also about exercise, Jennifer. You'll find that the more you exercise and the more you burn, the more you can eat. For example, I'm on a 12 to 1400 calorie a day plan, so I will generally eat 1200 calories a day. When I go to the gym, I burn about 400 to 500 calories. So that means that I'm in a deficit every day, so I can eat a little bit more. You know, a typical day for me, I'll have a yogurt for breakfast, 100 calories. I'll have some fruit with that. That's another 110 calories. That's a 210 calorie breakfast. For lunch today, I had some turkey pastrami, which 4 ounces is 120 calories. Then I had those little Arnold round honey wheats. That's 100 calories, so that was 220 calories. So now we're up to almost 500 calories. So, you know, dinner after I exercise tonight is going to be a salad, and I'll probably throw some protein in there. But I'm pretty satisfied. You know, I'll have an apple. Apples are really great in holding you over. There's carrots. You have to think of the foods that are going to hold you over. Make sure that you're not going to get hungry. Proteins are wonderful for that. Vegetables are fantastic for that. There are certain fruits that are good for that also. Apples are fantastic. And you just have to make sure that you look at the healthier, better options for you. For me, it was just learning what worked for me and what didn't. And I don't know if you were here, Jennifer, when I said this earlier, but I didn't want to give up the foods that I loved. So if I wanted to eat Greek food, which I love, or pizza, I know that a slice of pizza is 400 calories. I would factor that 400 calories into the rest of my day. And instead of eating 4 slices of pizza, I would eat 1 slice of pizza and have a salad with that with very, very light dressing. And then I would factor the rest of my, let's say, 1,000 calories around that, and I'd go to the gym in the morning and burn a couple hundred calories to make sure that I compensated for that. Lisa, Spark People is a free app. It's available for download. It's also a website. And if you go to my Healthy Mama B page, There's a story about me that they actually wrote up based on my weight loss, and there's a link. It's a wonderful app. What I loved about Spark People was the ability to blog, share your story, ask questions. They've got a chat component, so when I was curious about something, and I like questions like this, what foods are best, to keep within your range, I asked questions to the people who were also on the program. I asked the questions, they answered them. It was a really great, wonderful support system. So if you're interested in joining, my name on Spark People is GaileyB69, and we could be friends on Spark People too. I would love to be able to support you there as well. And my brother just joined. Hey, Alan, good to see you. You're welcome, Jennifer. It's a long road. You're right. It is a long road, and it is going to take time, but just remember that it took a while for us to get to where we are, and it's going to take time for us to get back to where we need to be. It just takes time. So Anne wants to know how much water I drink a day. So I use this Tervis, and I drink about 5 Tervises a day. Some days more than others. Some days it's only 3. It just depends. Yeah, like I said, I've got a stressful job and I'm at my desk a lot. There are some days I'm at my desk for back-to-back meetings. But when I can get up and move around, I do actually. I drink about 5 of those a day. I try to drink a full one with every meal. I drink 1 or 2 when I'm at the gym. Hey, Hannah. Thanks for joining. Thanks, Alan. Now, my brother and I had a conversation a while ago. He lost about 100 pounds about 1.5 years ago and looked amazing. And we talked for about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago about weight loss, and he's back on track again. And one of the things that he said is that one of the hardest components of losing weight is actually maintaining it. It's really hard to maintain. So like I had said earlier, one of the strategies that I used, and I hope that it works, right, because I'm still losing, but one of the strategies I used was to go down gradually, maintain for a while, and then continue down on my weight loss. So plateauing for me was normal. There were a couple of times that I went up a couple of pounds, and then I learned how to lose it, but it was a strategy so that I would be able to maintain it once I finally got down to my goal weight. I wanted to be able to deal with it because I don't want to get back up to 297 pounds. That's a lot of weight, and I'm never going to go there again. Thanks, Nancy. And yes, Casey is an expert. Robbie's sister is an expert about exercise. Are there any other questions? I'm so excited that you guys are joining. Thank you so much for supporting me and for being here today. It really means a lot to me, and I hope that the information that I shared is going to be helpful to you. One of the things that I thought was fabulous was Juliana's article. Anne, you brought up a really great point earlier about the question regarding Juliana and the way that she dealt with it. She was really fabulous, and she just popped into my office, but she's being a little shy, so I'm not going to bring her in today, but maybe she'll join us in a future live session. So Jenny wants to know, how many meals do I have in a day? I usually eat 3 full meals a day, but I have 2 snacks a day, maybe 3 snacks a day, so I eat about 4 or 5 times a day. Again, it's all in the calorie amounts. If I have a heavy lunch, I'll have a very light dinner. If I have a very heavy lunch, I'm going to have a very light dinner, and I try to exercise or move every day. So even if I don't get to the gym 5 or 6 days a week, on Sundays, I usually clean the house. I'm running around. I'm running errands. So I try to burn calories every single day. It's very rare that you'll see me laying on the couch all day. I've got to be really sick for that to happen. Love you too, Jen. Thanks for joining. So, any other questions? I'm so glad you guys joined. This makes me happy. I hope that you find the information valuable. I do. So, all right. Well, I think I've been on for almost half an hour. I'm not really sure how this works. This is all new for me. But what I'd like to do is um, do this, every couple of weeks based on, feedback and what folks would like to see. And, if there are any particular topics you'd like to hear about, I'm happy to talk about it. We can go ahead and schedule something on an ongoing basis, and hopefully, I can help you guys achieve whatever your goals are. For me, this is about sharing my experiences so that you can be successful. I know how hard it is. I struggled with it my whole life. Dale knows. She was with me in elementary school. Laura knows. She was with me in graduate school. Tara knows. She was with me when I was having kids. So my mom knows, and my brother knows for sure. They were with me when I was everywhere. So it's a hard struggle, and it takes a long time to get to. So if I can help you, that's what I'm here for. And if you have friends or family or anybody that needs the support, by all means, show them the Healthy Momma Bee website. It's healthy-mommabee.com. Bring them to Facebook. I'm also on Instagram. I'm trying to also build up a Pinterest. This is all new to me, with some ideas for recipes and meal plans and things that might work for you based on things that I've experienced. So hopefully this will work. All right, if you need anything, send me an IM or a message on Facebook, or touch base with me if you know me personally. I'm happy to help. You guys have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for joining. Bye.
Great job.